Coach, a very similar game to what we just saw on Sunday, but being able to pull out the win, how big is that just for these guys to be able to get this win the way they played out there tonight?
I think it's huge for our group. Anytime you can win and you beat a good team, no matter how many minutes people play, like, it feels good. Like, you're building some winning habits. And we lost this game last time, a couple nights ago, and challenged a couple of guys in that group that played late in the game, and I thought they did a heck of a job of responding and playing together and executing our defensive plan really well.
You talk about those winning stats and making adjustments at halftime. You guys really did. In the second half, you came out, you had 1 turnover and forced 6 Heat turnovers for 9 points, and you out-rebounded them 11-7 and outscored them 9-0 in the paint. How impressive was that, and what was the turning point? How did you get them to turn that way in the second half?
I think that it was a mindset shift. Again, like I said in the pregame presser, they force you to be a little bit more competitive, a little bit more physical, a little bit more together. And I thought after we got a feel for, how they were playing defensively, how they were playing offensively, we kind of settled in. And I just think that we got into the ball a little bit more. We finished possessions as a group and forced them into some tougher shots. I also just really thought that everyone chipped in. Everyone did their job in the second half. We valued the ball a little bit more. But even at the end of the game, like, we watched that clip again as a team, and the bench is up the whole time supporting the guys that are on the court. And so I just, it was a great collective victory.
When you talk about Musa and Tijan both and what they kind of contributed there, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, their energy, their effort, their length, their versatility, they helped us in a lot of different ways. I thought they came up with some winning plays, but I also think Charlie Brown came up with some big plays and big offensive rebound, and DJ got in there and did some things, and Dwayne Washington. So, again, just a really good team win.
Coach, great job of contesting Jimmy Butler post-ups, a guy who's known to get to the foul line in those situations. Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, how important is it to contest without fouling when you're trying to preach defense?
Yeah, in all facets of the game and every player, we want to contest without fouling. And like you mentioned, Butler being one of the best in the league at drawing fouls, I thought our guys showed great discipline tonight. And so, you have Brunson a couple nights ago, you got Butler tonight, and they test you. They test your discipline to be able to just do it over and over and over again. And I thought our guys did a really good job.
I know it's just preseason, but LaMelo had 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. What do you think about his performance tonight, and just what did you see from him? I guess, again, being a two-way player, you wanted to be out there on the court.
Yeah, on top of being a two-way player, I've also loved that he's been able to play with the ball in his hands and also off the ball. And, his improved running habits, I think, off the ball and getting some more catch-and-shoot threes and trusting his teammates. And we talked about some of our pick and rolls, and can we hit the seam a little bit more? Can we let our bigs, create the advantage and then hit them in the seam? And I thought tonight we hit them in the seam a couple times. The defense collapsed, and we get some kick-out threes. And so his overall growth and development and his trust in all the guys is just continuing to grow. And so, tonight was another night to just get some good reps and some chemistry offensively.
Then with Tijan, can you explain, I guess, how important these reps are for him to get these getting reps in situations where tight game, fourth quarter, he has to kind of go out there and make a play on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, for sure. And he's making plays on both sides. He's asking me to guard every position on the floor, and so he has that competitiveness to him that I really enjoy. I think that his teammates really enjoy, and so again, just trying to get him to use his voice a little bit more on the court, and yelling out and communicating directions for our guys. What are the coverages, and whatever you do, just be assertive with it. And he's getting a little bit better, I think, every game.
How's Josh Green?
Josh Green is good. I think that, the plan was, even coming into the game, he's played a lot of basketball. He played with the national team. He was in the finals. He and I had a nice little finals battle. And the plan was for him not to play in the second half. And so just trying to be cautious with where he is.
Looked like there was a message, even Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, the whole team, trying to drive in early, right? First possession of the game is Brandon giving a shoulder to somebody's chest, and then you guys had 35 free throw attempts. How much was that the message? I know in general to be aggressive and physical, but felt like maybe there was a little bit more significance here against the Heat tonight.
Just owning your space and, taking advantage of some of the ball pressure that they do apply. And at times, I think there's some guys that we can drive. And not settling or not being on our heels and being the aggressors was a little bit of the message today.
It's a tough night for Miller shooting wise. I feel like last year that maybe would have like crippled the offense as a whole. What does it mean for you now to have multiple offensive threats? Guys like LaMelo back, Trey Mann scored a bunch off the bench, Tijon hit a bunch of jumpers. What does it mean for this like holistic offensive effort when guys like Miller struggle, other guys can pick him up on the offensive end?
Yeah, I thought Brandon got some great looks tonight. Unfortunately, missed some of them. I have total faith and confidence that he'll make those next game, and he's been working on them. And obviously, some of the offensive concepts are different, so he's getting his shots in different places. But as you talked about, we have great balance, and so Brandon doesn't necessarily need to always worry about scoring a bunch of points, because I think that his playmaking skills are so good as well. And if he's going to draw double coverages or he's going to draw a big to come up, I think he's a great passer too. So there's so many layers to Brandon's game. He's more than just a shooter. He's going to come back the next game and get those same looks, and I think they're all going down again.
He talked about being a two-way player at media day. Have you seen that in these first two games?
Oh, for sure. Again, like Tijon's asking, Brandon's asking. One time I think Tijon and Brandon were trying to fight for the same guy. And so I love it. I love that everyone is taking on the challenge, from our starters to our guys off the bench. It's a fun group. It's a good group. It's a competitive group. And I love the versatility that we're going to have to be able to throw at a lot of different people.
Coach, going back to draft night, we got to speak to Jeff, and he's talking about Tijon's shooting prowess. He said the mechanics were there, the fluidity in the shot was there. When you're able to see him do what he did on catch and shoot, on triple threat jab steps into shots, even the one dribble pull-up, how encouraging is that for you to see his growth and where that can go?
Yeah, I think it's huge for his confidence just to be able to do this in an NBA game. He's going to continue to grow. And so he's in the infancy stages of his NBA career and his NBA shooting. And I think he'll have some great nights, and he's going to have some rough nights. And we just have to keep him in a place of not riding that roller coaster and continue to take the shots that he needs to take and shoot them confidently.
Coach, I don't know if I'm reaching here, but it felt like there was
Reach.
I forget there was a player that fell down and felt like the whole team sprinted over, maybe with a little bit more intent than usual. Is that something that you preach a little more so to help somebody that falls on the ground, or is that just them taking it upon themselves to do so? I
think it goes to our togetherness. And so if somebody's going to take a charge, somebody hits the floor, we're all there to help pick each other up. And, I talked about before, that's one of the areas that as a group, we just want to be able to embrace adversity a little bit better, sustain our efforts. But part of embracing adversity is banding together in those times. And so up, down, whatever, we got to stay together. And that's going to help us get through every time. So I love to see the guys running on the floor. Saw it at training camp. We had to be careful a couple times because, the floor is wet and guys running over. But it's been a consistent theme, and that's who they are. And that's what they're about. Thank you, guys.